Hi, I'm Christina, and I live in Cyprus. I help small business owners with their marketing and getting more clients through the door.
Perfect. So, just before we get into kind of your story over the last 90 days, Christina, I'd love to know, what your background is, what other kind of businesses or jobs you've had in the past, which has kind of led you up to where you are today.
Okay, well, I've always kind of been a bit of an entrepreneur at heart, hustled my way through high school selling stuff. Um, and I moved overseas and met my husband,
So, where are you from originally?
Canada, Nova
Canada. Okay.
Scotia. hmm
Yeah.
hmm So when I moved over to Cyprus, my husband and I opened a couple of different types of businesses. The first one that we opened together was a nursing home for the elderly,
Wow.
which we ended up selling to the partners, and we continued and opened up a convenience store, and we sold that on for
So how did you go from the nursing home to the convenience store?
well, for 25-year-olds, nursing home, and we kind of worked in the business instead of on the business.
Yeah.
So seeing a lot of the day-to-day stuff was really heartbreaking for me particularly.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a
Softy.
yeah, I can't. So I mean, it was just something that I didn't want to be around at that young age. I felt like by surrounding myself with that kind of lifestyle, I was um, missing out on a lot of things that 25-year-olds should be living, like starting a family of
Yeah.
our own and living a life not around death.
Yeah.
So I had decided my husband agreed, and that's when we decided we were going to open something else for ourselves, which was the convenience store.
Okay.
Again, same mistake, working in our business instead of on our business.
Yeah.
And 3 years in, we had a goal at 5 years that we would sell it on anyway. But at 3 years, we made our revenue goal and said, enough, let's sell it and just, take a break, start a family, do our thing.
Yeah.
So
And what country
that's
was
what
this in that you were doing it in? Because you said you were overseas.
Cyprus.
It was in Cyprus. Okay. So where you're at.
Cyprus, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I then entered the real estate industry because of when I was in the convenience store. We had a lot of customers that come from abroad, and they were looking for property. And because we lost our first home because of not knowing the language, not knowing lawyers, not knowing all of this stuff,
Yeah.
started to help people just because.
Yeah.
And I started to learn about the law and learn about the property, the process of buying property in Cyprus. So decided after that I think going under an umbrella to proceed into the real estate industry was a good idea. So that's what I did.
So you got into real estate, and then
Yeah.
how did you transition real estate into what you're doing now with helping small businesses with their marketing?
Right. Well, real estate is a very demanding job, and I already had my son, and I fell pregnant with my daughter.
Hmm.
And when she was born, it was too much. It was too much. I couldn't dedicate the time to the career,
Okay.
and so I decided to step away from it. My daughter had some difficulties. She was born prematurely, so she has a lot of respiratory issues,
Okay.
and so there was no. I had to stop. I had to stop and stay home and take care of my kids, and
Yeah.
that's what I did. But being a person that I am,
Restless, maybe?
very restless. I mean, it's all fun. It's to me that like I love life too much, and I love the hustle, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I started to get itchy, needing to do something, and because of my background in real estate and because of the businesses that I'd owned and knowing what it took to actually get people through the door, I learned a lot of self-taught marketing,
Hmm.
particularly in offline marketing.
Yeah.
But then when I got into the real estate industry, we had a lot of training on the online marketing to generate our own leads and stuff. So I took that and I applied it to small businesses in the area. It was actually friends of mine.
Sure.
They own small businesses. Was starting to help them out, just over coffee. hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And then I'd get phone calls going, oh my God, I can't believe that worked.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, you're lucky. You're lucky that people were actually implementing, because more often than not, the experience of people who've actually done it is you share the right advice, and then they don't do anything with it, and then they keep on coming back for you for more advice, and you're just like, well, why don't I need to charge you for this, because it's the only time you're ever going to start implementing these things.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, because that had actually happened a couple of times. I mean, one of my friends had tried to implement, I told her, try this. If it's that bad, try this. I can guarantee you, I will write it down in blood if you want, that this will happen if you do it. And, when you do half bleep stuff, then you don't get where you need to go. Right. And we actually had a little bit of a confrontation about it, because it was like, oh, that stuff doesn't really work. And I'm like, well, how do you know? You've never tried it.
Totally. Yeah.
So you can't really dismiss something if you haven't at least tried it. So,
So let's fast forward to the end of 2014, when you were going through email, or you were on Facebook. I don't know where you would have been, but how did you come to find the 90-day year program?
Well, it's funny. What they say, when you're ready for something, it shows up. Mm-hmm. I'd been part of Melanie and Devin's OEA program from the beginning, and I signed up to that program because I knew a lot of that information could help me with help my small business owners if I could take certain things and implement them for my clients. Sure. Friends, clients, I don't know what you want to call them. So, and the community was great. So then the launch happened with the 90-day year. And I used to, when I first got into this online marketing, I used to buy every program that was out there. I mean, to learn as much as I could. And I would read through it, and I would apply the stuff. And a lot of it was so fluff, and, I'd spend like, I don't know, $100 and be like, total waste of time. Yeah. I could have found it all for free and, whatever. So the difference was with Melanie's stuff and Devin's stuff was that they really did put out that effort to show, hey, this is how you can do it. This is what we've done. Mm-hmm. Here, let us take you step by step. And they did that. So I watched them grow that business, their business. But then they mentioned that they brought on a coach. Yeah. And as soon as they mentioned they brought on the coach, then I saw huge changes. Uh-huh. And I went, okay, now I like what I see. I like what's going on here. So I was observing how they were progressing, and I was intrigued. I was like, wow, this is amazing, mm-hmm. From where they were and how they brought other people in to do some of the programs and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and through some of our coaching calls that we'd listen to, it was, a lot of the things that, it made sense, just the stuff that made sense. And I knew it was stemming from them being coached. Yeah. So when the 90-day year came up and I watched the 4-series video, I went, oh, there's the coach. This is okay. And at that time I had decided that I wanted to take what I was doing for the local small businesses to a real level. Yeah. To actually implement it and start it as a proper business. Like, go out and actively get clients in and actively do, make it into a proper business. Yeah. So I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, and simultaneously, I had come in contact with somebody who had written a book years ago and wanted to reestablish himself in the online world. Gotcha. So I thought, what better way to take all the stuff that I've learned and implement it using this gentleman's, opportunity, this opportunity that's just come before me, right? Yeah. So I was ready to take it to the next level in my own business.
It's that, I use it all the time because, again, my background comes from sports and, working with, business owners and entrepreneurs. It's the two worlds just work really, really well together. And, you know, it's that you're kind of saying it, but it's that idea of, you know what, I really want to go pro with my business. Like I really want to, you know, really take it seriously now, which means putting in, you know, marketing systems. So it's not just happenstance where I get a client from a friend or something like that, where it's actually, you know, people are coming in because I'm drawing them in because of the need that they need in the marketplace. Yeah, so it was perfect timing. And then the other thing that you had said just now too was that you already have the information in your head. It's not that you need to go and get more information. And
Absolutely.
you know, that's why one of the big things that I say is that people need more kind of high level context stuff, because most people actually have all of the how-to stuff inside of them. And all
Absolutely.
the how-to stuff you can go and find anyway. Like you referenced it before. Like I could have done a few Google searches and found all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing against people who package up that information, because sometimes just the packaging it up and deleting the things that people don't need is important. But
yes.
You don't need 100 of those courses. You just need one to get some how-to. So, well, let's kind of get into, so you get into the program, and just what's been your experience like over the last 90 days?
Wow. Okay. It's been a really good experience. I think one of the biggest things that I saw with this program was that there was a real sense of community and a real sense of teamwork. Like I'm in many groups. I've since cleaned out a lot of these groups because it's a lot of noise that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And although I'm on Facebook a lot for my clients or people that I work with or what have you, I'm never personally on Facebook. I can't be bothered or interested. I'm not interested in checking out what somebody ate yesterday. I really don't want to know. I'm there to connect and engage with my people's people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being part of this community, the biggest difference I saw was that people helped each other without expecting monetary gain. Trying to sell something all the time. You know, here, I've got this great program here, buy this. It's a genuine, and I know this was set up from the beginning because of the leadership that you bring to the table with the whole program. Anybody that goes through this program will realize that this whole program is not just about business, but it's a lifestyle. It's the way you live.
Yeah.
So when you have set that intention for a community and you literally give that out to people, they'll reciprocate that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest experiences. I mean, I stayed silent a lot throughout the community.
Sure.
I read almost everything, but I didn't participate. Yeah. And a lot of that was to do with my comfort, obviously. I was not comfortable sharing stuff about myself because I really didn't know what to share. I didn't know what to say or what to do. Do you know what I mean? I just, so, but I think when I think I became more engaged when the 5th module came out, and I realized that just one line totally threw me for a loop. It was how small I played throughout everything. I set goals that were comfortable. Yeah. I didn't put out much more than that because a whole bunch of stuff started coming out. Oh my Lord, it was you know, who am I to believe that I'm better, smarter than my peers or my family or my friends? Or it's a very uncomfortable place to be. Sure. Because I have big goals out there. If I could feed the world, I would. Like, honest to God, there's not a time I go grocery shopping and I don't take somebody off the street and bring them in and shop with them. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's, if I could take everyone home, I would. Right? So, and that's not normal to a lot of people that I'm around.
No, that's right. It's not.
So I caught myself going, oh, well, maybe that's why I don't tell anybody I do that. And that's why I don't talk about these things, because I don't want people to look at me funny or to think differently of me. Yeah. And on the outside, many people that know me, they're like, you know, she doesn't care what you think. And deep down, it's not true. I do care. I do care what people think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this whole sense of community, where there was so many like people in the group, that I heard people were going through the same things that I was. Struggling with the same struggles, trying to find a balance, not find a balance between work and life, but find a balance within themselves in this world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing is like for myself, like working with, when you've actually been on the field of play, like I use the term all the time, when you've been on the field of play, working with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of clients, you just see the forest through the trees. And that is that for as much as everyone feels like they're different, they're not. It's just, you know, for all of the different insecurities that someone has about their business or about themselves or how they work inside their business or how they work inside their life, 99% of other people are feeling the same thing, which means that it's not a real thing. And we can get past and move past it. But that whole idea of playing small is that, I mean, that's what I'm trying to, as the coach, confront people with, because so many people have these big goals that they have for themselves, but the actions that they take don't match up with the goals. And so the gap that's between the two there is the 6 inches between the ears. And you can give people all the tools in the world, like, and you've done that yourself, and yet they still won't take action because of the, oh, that won't work for me, but I want to know, well, because there's a question behind that statement. There's a question behind that statement that's important to ask, which is, what is it about yourself that you can't see yourself using that thing? And then it usually gets down to things like you were just saying, like, well, and no one's normally going to admit it, that who am I to think that I'm better than someone else? Which is just,
that was huge. I mean, I'm a pretty independent and strong person generally. I mean, knock on wood, I don't know my life experiences, my character, my DNA, I don't know what you want to call it, but I've never sat and sulked about something for too long. I mean, I'll feel it, get over it, get up, get going, right? Like, there's no time for that stuff. I got too much of a life to live, right? So when this came up, it was something that I wasn't ready for, because I've never had anybody hold me accountable other than myself. I've never really been around people that had the bleep to call me out on something. Right? Or to come out and say, you know what, you said you were going to do this and you didn't. Right? I don't know if it's because I'm intimidating, because I can be very intimidating sometimes without wanting to. But because of that bluntness I have, and you know, that determination, or whatever you want to call it. People are intimidated by that, and I see that, and I reiterate to my friends and people around me, if you see something I'm doing that's you know, not matching up with what I've said, then call me out on it. I expect that from you. If you're in my circle, I expect that from you. So having called myself out on that, and having not even having myself calling me out, and you don't even know me. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? What is happening here? And I sat and cried for about 3 hours, and then got over it and said, right, okay, so now I'm ready to take over the world. Like, let's go, give it. So
well, I'm excited. I mean, this is what I tell people often, is that just the experience I've had with working with so many people on performance and goals and achievement, whatever the, you know, the umbrella you want to hang this stuff under, that more often than not, the results you're getting today are a result of something you did 90 days or 3 months ago. And that I'm excited to see what happens with all the people that were in the 90-day year and the next 90 days for them as well, because there's been so much momentum and action and things being taken care of on the field of play, that it's this next 90 days that oftentimes has the bigger and biggest wins. But I mean, my favorite wins for people to have, I mean, it's great for people to have revenue growth and numbers and more leads come into their business or systems getting taken care of. But when I can help shift people's mindsets, that That stuff's the important thing because it has to start there anyway, typically. But more often than not, too many people have been taught to like, oh, you need to sit there, you need to like visualize it. And hey, I mean, I have a whole program that I work with people on when it comes to, you know, something I call holographic visualization. But I'd much rather people can change their, you know, results more when they're just forced to get onto the field and do the reps. Just get out there and practice, because typically momentum always comes from movement. It doesn't come from a stationary object. So
well, that's exactly it. I mean, this was one of the amazing things that had happened right before I joined the 90-day year was this opportunity with the gentleman who had written the book years ago.
Yeah.
I had learned so much, but was unable to apply it to the people I was serving because I don't know, most small business owners are scared, just like anybody else. They're scared to get out of that comfort and try something new, to, you know, take a step further. There is a lot of resistance there.
Yeah, totally.
So here's me dying inside going, oh, I need to do something. I want to build a funnel.
Yeah.
I want to target and try traffic and bring it. Oh, I know it all up here, but it's nothing. I'm going to forget it all if I don't actually do it and fall on my face and, you know, learn from it. So when this opportunity arose and I started step by step, started getting it. And then the 90-day year came and went, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And I did it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The world didn't collapse around you when you did it.
Yeah, really, right? Like, oh my God, I'm still alive, right?
Yeah. That's great. Well, need to wrap this up, but just wanted to thank you so much for sharing kind of your story, because it's a different story than other people's stories as well. Plus, you know, I'm sure there's people that are elsewhere in the world and overseas, and is this just a thing that works just in America or Canada or the UK or something? And I mean, it's just, these are fundamental principles about how to operate and work as a, you know, high performing individual. And so I appreciate you taking out that time, Alana.
No, absolutely. I mean, on a final note, this does work for anybody and everywhere, and anywhere you are in the world, no matter what you set out to do. This gives you the foundation to excel, not only in business, but in life in general. That's the best thing. I got 3 words: transformational, powerful, and effective. I mean, that's all I have to say.
Perfect. Well, thanks for wrapping it up with that then, Christina. Cheers.
No problem. Take care.
Bye-bye.